Come dream with me tonight. Let's go to far-off places and search for treasures bright. Come dream with me tonight. Let's build a giant airship and sail into the sky. Let's watch the ground so far below. Let's watch the birds as they fly by. The butterflies in springtime will lead us on our way. Exploding dandelions will brighten summer's day. And if our dream's a good one, and if our dream is right, then imagination can be real if we will dream tonight.
Worlds of Wonder, which rode the success of Teddy Ruxpin to record sales before crash landing in bankruptcy court in 1987, will turn once again to the talking teddy bear for its future success. In filing its Chapter 11 reorganization plan in federal bankruptcy court last week, the Fremont-based toymaker said it will focus initially on products that can be brought to market with minimum risk. Although WoW's toy line won't include any surprises, its expansion plans are more ambitious. WoW plans to branch out to new distribution channels, selling in discount stores, large chains, and department stores, as well as its customary channel of toy supermarkets. Michelle Levender, The Chicago Tribune, March 26, 1989.
Worlds of Wonder's reorganization plan came a month after it was rescued by a group headed by Eli S. Jacobs, a New York financier. Nicknamed the New WoW by Jacobs Group, it was purchased by them for $27.5 million via issued notes and preferred stock. Creditors were only going to recover $65 out of the old WoW's $312 million debt. Stockholders would recoup none of their investment.
We were not given back our license. We were told that basically the shareholders in Worlds of Wonder would suffer if the main product, Teddy Ruxpin, was given back to its owners. So essentially we had to go hand in hand with Worlds of Wonder and eventually the management company and then the entity that took it over.
Before the original version of WoW filed for bankruptcy, Alchemy II had been able to develop and put to market essentially anything they could dream up, especially if it was part of the World of Teddy Ruxpin.
Baby Teddy and Baby Grubby are two products developed when there was still WoW money being funneled in. They were cute, cuddly, and programmed to speak to their owners, but only Teddy is released. Grubby never sees the light of day.
And what we're left with after New WoW comes into being are products that really reflect the bare-bones staff Alchemy II was left with.
There's no dedicated art department. Phil Barron is now a freelancer as opposed to a full-time employee.
3 products which reflected this watered-down version of Alchemy II were the Answer Box, Picture Show, and Electronic Telephone. The first was designed to be fully dedicated to the Teddy Ruxpin talking toy, allowing children to interact with it, something they had previously been unable to do. The second did not even need the talking toy in order to function if the user chose not to hook the 2 units together. It was a takeoff on the Viewmaster toy, but projected the picture outwards, giving children the feeling of running their own Saturday matinee. And the third, the most simplistic of the products in question, helped teach the fundamentals of using a telephone while getting to hear Teddy Ruxpin speak.
If they seem like steps backwards, they were, but it's not through the fault of anyone over at Alchemy II. They weren't able to take things to the next level in the aftermath of WoW's filing of Chapter 11.
They were doing everything they could to keep Teddy Ruxpin relevant. With Ken having stepped away at this point, it was no easy task, but they made it work.
By the beginning of 1991, however, things did not look good for the new Worlds of Wonder. In an attempt to revitalize their licensor, Alchemy II, for the first time in several years, created new characters for the world of Teddy Ruxpin.
4 precious baby Forsse friends are waiting for you. Teddy Ruxpin found them, and now they're your friends too. Squeeze them and watch them scurry towards you. They chatter, they twitter, they're totally irresistible. Forsse babies have great ideas about the environment. Rafferty the raccoon helps you learn about recycling. Oleana the owl hoo-hoo-hoos for clean air. Brambles the beaver is a busy baby helping to keep our water clean. And Sachet the skunk is so sweet, you'll fall in love with her ideas for protecting animal life.
Ken even came out of semi-retirement in order to inject life into the new project by writing a new storybook, Teddy Ruxpin and the Forest Animals. The premise finds Teddy, Grubby, and Gimmick flying in the airship well away from the land of Grundo and into the world of humans. Once there, they arrive at the treehouse nursery and meet the forest babies, whose caretaker is named Amber.
The forest babies' names are sort of in flux during the development of the project. The owl in the storybook is named Olivia. The raccoon, called Rafferty, goes by Rumpus, and the beaver is, early on, called Bellamy before Brambles is settled upon. The skunk's name was always Sachet.
In this new storybook, the trio take Amber and the forest babies up in the airship to find a place to have a picnic, where Teddy recounts his and his friends' amazing adventures. On their way back, however, lightning strikes the treehouse nursery, starting a fire. Everyone scrambles into action in order to save not only the treehouse, but the entire forest.
In the end, they're successful, but the fire has caused enough damage to warrant some concern. But Amber shows Teddy that if they plant the seedlings she's been cultivating, the trees will grow back.
Plant a tree in the forest, help it grow straight and tall. Plant a tree in the forest, for us all, for us all. For each giant tree that's standing in the forest is a place where tiny creatures go to live. There to flourish, they are nourished and protected by the shelter that each giant tree can give. Plant a tree in the forest, help it grow straight and tall. Plant a tree in the forest, for us all, for us all. For the floor of every forest keeps our water pure and clean, while the trees are busy making lots of air. So let's do our best to keep each forest rich and full and green, and let's all show Mother Nature that we care. Plant a tree in the forest, help it grow straight and tall. Plant a tree in the forest, for us all, for us all.
This new line appears at Toy Fair 1991, and while they're received well enough, ultimately it's just too late. Worlds of Wonder's final death knell is sounding.
The silver lining in all of this, however, is that Alchemy II regained full control of the Teddy Ruxpin license. Now they could go shop their property around.
Dr. Clay Bearwell Pimentel, as he is known, discusses his patient with the seriousness of a scientist but the pride of a parent. He enthusiastically tells of how Teddy has brought children out of comas, has helped kids with learning disabilities, and has warned them against the dangers of talking to strangers. Pimentel opened Toy Fair in late 1991 to ensure the magic of Teddy Ruxpin never dies, though his manufacturer did. In September, he moved the store into a new 5,000 square foot space, a real toy store, with a sky blue painted ceiling and a choir of Teddy Ruxpins in tuxedos that sing at 2 p.m. every day. I want to be sure that he's taken care of professionally, Pimentel says. I have vendors that call me and say they want to sell Teddy Ruxpin, but they can't service him. Carolyn Shapiro, Storefront.
When Worlds of Wonder's doors finally closed, Dr. Clay hated the idea of seeing Teddy Ruxpin fade into oblivion. His solution was to put in a bid to buy the remainder of the company's stock for $125,000. He then bought even more product from its Hong Kong manufacturer. At Toy Fair, Dr. Clay sold WOW products at discounted prices and made sure his place of business was kid-friendly. There was an area for children to sit in small chairs and play with the store's toys. There was also an examining table where the good doctor could check each product that came through his doors in need of repair. Little did he and his Toy Fair team know their business was about to get a boost.
Hasbro, reviving another toy whose developers have fallen on hard times, said Friday its Playskool subsidiary has obtained marketing and licensing rights to the Teddy Ruxpin Talking Bear toys. The deal with Alchemy II includes its inventory of existing bears, parts, and tooling held by the original manufacturer, Worlds of Wonder. Along with the rights to market the teddy bear, Hasbro also acquired the potentially lucrative right to license other companies to make Teddy Ruxpin merchandise. The Times Leader, September 8th, 1991.
There are lots of teddy bears, but only one Teddy Ruxpin.
Hi, my name is Teddy Ruxpin. Can you and I be friends?
Sure, Teddy.
Your friend is what I'd like to be.
He's alive. How does he do that? He's a magic bear.
One day, we found an old treasure map. The treasure was supposed to be
my friend Teddy Ruxpin.
Teddy Ruxpin, batteries not included.
Once Play School held the license, the Forest Babies line was canceled. They felt that the best way forward for the World of Teddy Ruxpin was to re-release what already worked, the talking toy itself. The Plant a Seed live tour that was being developed before the new deal came to be did not happen, but Alchemy II did put together a program straight from the heart.
Because children trust Teddy Ruxpin, Alchemy II has received countless letters from medical professionals and parents requesting special books and tapes to help children through the difficulties of coping with hospitalization. Hasbro, Play School, and Alchemy II have joined forces to make Welcome to the Hospital a reality. Working together, they created a Teddy Ruxpin coloring book, audio cassette, and hand puppet. Through songs, dialogue, art, and puppetry, Teddy Ruxpin addresses a young child's feelings and concerns about being hospitalized.
It was Teddy helping to empower and validate young patients, most first-time visitors to hospitals, letting them know it was okay to laugh, cry, get mad, or whatever.
Welcome to the Hospital is the one true highlight about the Play School years because things were just not going very well where the talking toy was concerned.
Teddy, in a way, has often suffered by being born under a dark star. I'm not sure what his karma is, but there have been failures in the product that were never due to the quality of the toy or all of the supporting material that was created for it. And when we went with Hasbro, it was great. And we actually spent a lot of time going back and forth to Pawtucket, Rhode Island. They moved their manufacturing site from one place to another in China. And the individuals that were on the line there were not putting the product together in the right order. And they were getting oil on the servo bands. And it caused a 50% failure in the animation because the bands were slipping. Basically, it ruined us. And they had a huge recall, and we got our license back. So Teddy had a black eye from that. And in terms of getting the product out again, it was difficult to interest a Mattel or another company. And again, a company like a Mattel or a Hasbro was going to take a long time to tool up.
Prior to the demise of Worlds of Wonder, nearly 6 million Teddy Ruxpin units had been sold around the world. Under the deal with Hasbro, roughly 500,000 units were purchased. Unfortunately for Alchemy II, they would never see sales numbers like their record year of 1986, when 3 million talking toys rushed off the shelves. After regaining their licensing rights, Alchemy II looked to see what company could possibly be able to get the World of Teddy Ruxpin back in working order.
Yes Entertainment today announced a 5-year licensing agreement with Alchemy II for the rights to Teddy Ruxpin. The new World of Teddy Ruxpin, a contemporary version of the beloved original, targets the interactive plush category, which Yes expects to be the highest growth segment of the feature plush category. Mary Becker, president and CEO of Alchemy II, stated, "When Alchemy created Teddy Ruxpin, we put our hearts into every aspect of the product. We are delighted that the team that made Teddy Ruxpin a household name is together again." Business Wire, April 29th, 1998.
Mary's reference to the team implied Don Kingsborough. After leaving WoW, he had gone on to eventually form Yes Entertainment. So for the two parties, it made perfect sense to work together again to bring Teddy Ruxpin back to his glory days.
When Alchemy II, Worlds of Wonder and I teamed up to introduce Teddy Ruxpin in 1985, we realized we had a revolutionary product that rapidly became a best-selling toy. Teddy Ruxpin's previous success and Alchemy II's creativity are the reasons we are so excited about this license agreement. We are leveraging Teddy Ruxpin's brand recognition and consumer goodwill by updating him for interactivity, CD-ROM and internet capabilities, and introducing him at a significantly lower price than the competition. Don Kingsborough.
Sporting a new outfit and artwork to match, Yes's Teddy Ruxpin was launched alongside the TV Pack, a device that connected the talking toy to a VCR, allowing it to narrate selected reissued episodes of the animated series on VHS. A planned computer pack extension product never ended up being released.
Calling it the new World of Teddy Ruxpin was a bit deceiving because the word new implies something different. And that just didn't happen.
The idea of it was admirable. Re-release what worked already because the animated series VHSs sold millions. Then, when the consumer is biting, offer something fresh, but it just couldn't sustain itself.
And actually, the deal that we did with Don was very beneficial to Alchemy. There was a lot of money that came through the doors. We were able to function again. And what was sad was that Yes Entertainment did not have enough money to carry it, and Don couldn't raise the money. So Yes failed. I don't know if it was a terrible lesson of dealing twice with the company that failed and the same man was at the head, but it was very difficult.
Today, we're gonna see an amazing animal. It's a type of bear. Its natural habitat is all around you. And he loves to make friends. He's the most lovable animal on the block. And his name is...
Hi, my name is Teddy Ruxpin. Can you and I be friends?
Join Teddy Ruxpin for stories, songs, and hours of amazing adventures. Teddy comes with big push-and-play buttons and all new digital technology. And he's easy to find at a store near you.
Backpack Toys, a manufacturer of innovative toys, today announced that it has entered an exclusive licensing agreement with Alchemy II to deliver Teddy Ruxpin, the world's first animated storytelling toy, to a new generation of children. In celebration of his 20th birthday this September, Teddy Ruxpin is ready to enchant and delight children ages 2 and older with his love of adventure, learning, imagination, and friendship. Business Wire, May 24th, 2005.
By the time this licensing deal came around, Mary Becker had stepped down from Alchemy II leadership, and Ken had taken to running the day-to-day operations of the company. In reality, Ken was working out of his house at Dana Point.
We are honored to bring this trusted and loved toy to today's children. Although there are other interactive toys on the market, there is no substitute for Teddy Ruxpin and his library of songs and adventures. Many parents and grandparents of today experienced Teddy's positive message firsthand 20 years ago. We're thrilled to play a role in providing them the opportunity to share Teddy Ruxpin with their children and grandchildren. Ed Hames, President, Backpack Toys.
I don't know if I got a call from Ken first or from Ed and Helen Hames, so it was cool because I did talk to Ken a couple of times via the phone, and that was really the first contact that I'd had with Ken since Alchemy closed. It was an interesting project because the whole team was scattered in several countries, so all of our communication was through computer and telephone, but it was cool working with Teddy. I definitely had a big say-so in continuity, making the bear look like the original and staying true to that.
Backpack was Ken's baby in terms of putting that together. And Linda Pearson came in and was absolutely seminal and instrumental in making that product what it is, which is one of the best versions of Teddy ever done. I was not part of it at all, but I applaud her. I know that she went to China and was on the line and made sure that that product was made according to the specifications that she and Ken knew that it needed to be. And it was a wonderful product.
This version of Teddy is completely updated for its time period. Gone are the cassette tapes, and in their place are MP3 cartridges. Even the controls on the back of the toy are designed to accommodate the small hands of children.
It's my favorite one, and I'm a Teddy Ruxpin lifer since I was an infant. You can absolutely tell there was an abundance of love that went into this one. Ken's full trust and faith in Linda is glaringly apparent.
Toy Fair was coming up and they wanted something special for the display, so I got to recreate some of the characters in Teddy's world about his size. So I got to do a Tweeg, a Bounder, Newton gimmick, and Grubby in posable toy form, and that was awesome.
Like every other time the toy had been brought to market, Teddy Ruxpin's release under Backpack Toys was received exceptionally well. The updated look and technology were applauded by industry insiders, making Ken a very happy creator and spurring him on to look into something he had long hoped for, a Teddy Ruxpin movie.
Hi, I'm Teddy Ruxpin. They tell me I'm the world's favorite animated bear. Well, I can tell you I'll be very animated in this new feature film. My most exciting adventure yet. Oh, my best friend Grubby will be along too. And his 8 legs will sure come in handy. Mostly for running. Our old treasure map will take us through forests, jungles, vast underground tunnels, and into the skies of Grundo. We'll be meeting some fantastic characters on this action-packed odyssey, although I'll wish we hadn't met some of them. Shortly after Grubby and I left our homeland of Relonia, we joined forces with Newton Gimmick, the inventor who built our wonderful airship. We'll fly it to the top of the treacherous mountains, to the mysterious, hard-to-find city. There in the ruins of this once great domain, we found the 6 ancient crystals, whose combined powers hold the key to the future of all Grundo. But who made the crystals? And why do all the monsters and villains in Grundo want them so badly? Which leads us to the bad guys of the picture. Tweeg is the first to find out about our amazing discovery. He tries his darndest to steal the crystals and the treasure. But Tweeg's not a very successful villain. And his greed keeps him from the real treasure. He's certainly no match for the evil supreme oppressor of Mavo, Queller. I'll have to confront the dreaded villain to finally get back the ancient crystals and save Grundo from darkness forever.
Where are you, Queller? I know you're here. What have you done with my friends? Queller! Show yourself!
You dare confront Queller, the supreme oppressor! Now, meddlesome little Illiop, you will join your friends!
Ken had been thinking about an animated Teddy Ruxpin feature film from the moment he knew that a live-action television series was not financially possible. Even after the animated series deal had been made, and during the initial development of the show, Ken, Phil Barron, and Len Levitt were drafting a treatment for a movie intended to serve as a continuation of the struggle between Teddy Ruxpin and Queller for control of the crystals. The story's main arc dealt with the trio discovering a lost colony of Illiops.
Teddy and the Illiops gaze at each other for a startled moment. Then excited whispering spreads through the crowd of Illiops. They've never seen an Illiop they didn't already know. Teddy says, "Hi there, my name is Teddy Ruxpin." The Illiops are delighted, if a bit confused. Then, to their horror, 2 very weird-looking creatures appear close behind Teddy. To us, they're only Grubby and Gimmick. But to a colony of totally isolated Illiops, they are very frightening. "Watch out, brother Illiop. 2 horrible monsters are behind you." Teddy laughs and introduces his 2 friends. As they walk through the crowd, they find the Illiops very friendly, though slightly timid. One Illiop girl is more curious and forward than the others. Her name is Alana.
This just shows that the treatment they're working on really is being done during production of the animated series episode outlines, because Ilana ends up being the name given to Teddy's mother.
She is thrilled to meet the strange Illiop, for her family is the keeper of the Illiop legends. For generations, Alana's ancestors have handed down the ancient texts describing the origins of their colony and whatever history was available to them. These books included writings in forgotten tongues, ruins, and primitive drawings, as well as descriptions of life in the colony right up to the present day. Since Teddy is also interested in Illiop culture and is a writer himself, and there isn't another cute Illiop girl for hundreds of miles, he is happy to meet her too.
It's a really fun story with a fantastic battle at the end involving a giant-sized woolly what's-it. Had this been allowed to happen, fans of the animated series would have been pleased with it.
If we include the Wizard's cinematographer pal Louie, flying around filming the big battle scene at the end, we could pull back from the closing scene to find the Wizard and Louie watching the whole thing on film at the Wizards. This could be seen under the closing credits. They might be eating popcorn and thoroughly enjoying themselves.
For more than 20 years, Ken had tinkered on and off with the movie treatment, editing, revising, completely overhauling, and doing everything else in between. He always envisioned the potential film to be episodes 66 through 70 of a second season for the animated series. Believing in it so much, he even struck a deal to see the first 65 episodes released on DVD, hoping to generate interest from old and new fans alike. Teddy Ruxpin's adventures, as far as Ken Forsey was concerned, were far from over.
Have I designed the steps to take? Or by taking steps have I found the way? Has the dream occurred as sleep or awake? Can it now withstand the light of day? Does it matter where I choose to stroll? Will I still find things that ought to be? Will there be a fusion of the mind and soul when the image becomes the reality?
My daughter talked a lot about getting Teddy Ruxpin for Christmas 1985. It was the #1 thing she wanted. I can still picture that Christmas morning when she scanned a living room full of toys and asked, "Where's my Teddy Ruxpin?" I don't remember what her dad and I told her, but I do know that the day after Christmas, her father hunted down a Teddy Ruxpin and bought it. There was only one problem. Our Teddy Ruxpin never said very much. He was supposed to read a story once we put a cassette into his back, but all we ever heard was one sentence. "Hi, I'm Teddy Ruxpin." The crazy part is that somehow it didn't seem to matter to my child that she had a non-talking Teddy. She played with him anyway until he finally joined the other old toys in the attic. A couple of years ago, I discovered Teddy Ruxpin under the eaves when I was getting the boxes of Christmas decorations. I decided he needed to be a part of the season too, as he was all those years ago. My daughter, all grown up and married, laughed when she saw him sitting under the tree. She remembered her Teddy Ruxpin. Patsy Pridgeon, The Rocky Mount Telegram.
Anyone working in our business is quite privileged. We don't go to work as research chemists. Because we're allowed to play and make a living at it, we have a responsibility to try to put some quality into the products. Teddy Ruxpin doesn't talk down to children. His voice is not like a Saturday morning cartoon. He doesn't insult the intelligence of children.
When the Fobs lose their beautiful covers, then they drink the rainbow. Then one of the Fobs, this Fob, was on the tree, and he's funny. And then they say, "We're wee mad."
It's about the
The
time.
Teddy Ruxpin Adventure Series from Worlds of Wonder.
Go look at this picture. It's really good.
Teddy Ruxpin is a projection of me. It's a projection of my better self. I think we all would like to imagine that we have the ability to be someone who can find solutions for things, who can be the voice of reason when needed. I think we all have that ability. It was just a privilege for me to be able to act that out, albeit through a toy character and an animated character. For me, it was more than anything else, just a whole lot of fun.
A lot of what we see in Teddy Ruxpin is my dad and the lessons that he tried to instill in those around him. He made sure that the stories and the lessons were timeless, that they pertained to anybody and everybody, old or young. And it was just pure innocence and imagination. And I believe that that's why it's lasted for this many years.
Teddy Ruxpin is an evergreen product. He is every man, every person, and he's wholesome and intelligent. And all of the characteristics that you'd like for your child to have are displayed in Teddy Ruxpin. And parents love Teddy. There's a lot of projects out there that are edgy. Teddy wasn't edgy. He was very wholesome and became a child's best friend.
I was introduced to a young woman, and in that introduction they said, "Oh, and by the way, he wrote all the music for a toy called Teddy Ruxpin." Well, she stood there and sang about 4 songs for me. I've had several experiences like that, but that was really something to meet somebody who was now in her 30s who could stand there and sing me the lyrics to 4 or 5 of the songs. And that's why I've always loved Teddy, because he was gentle and kind and giving, understanding and forgiving. And I think he represents a lot of the good that isn't around anymore in children's material.
He doesn't destroy galaxies or capture aliens or fold up into a space vehicle. And his friends don't have names like Kiltron or Smashoid.
Hi, my name is Teddy Ruxpin.
All he does is tell stories about friendship, caring, sharing. And he goes on adventures where the only thing he captures
I would like you to meet some of
is
my
a child's imagination.
We're going to have lots of good times together.
people still care about Teddy. And if you ask me why, I would have to say it's not because Teddy was a bear. I'm not even certain that it's because Teddy was the first animated talking toy. I think it was the content, it was the stories, it was the songs that made people love Teddy in a way that other kinds of talking toys that came after just didn't do. And again, it had to do with Ken, with his insistence on not perfection. We were never perfect, but we always did the very best we could. And Ken was always looking at everything going out the door, and it was the best we could do in that moment, and it was pretty damn good.
It's not Lord of the Rings, but it is an enduring story, and it will be around forever. And who knows, perhaps somebody in 100 years will look at it and they'll see what I see, and that's the allegorical aspects of it that are so powerful and so enduring. It'll be around. It'll be around forever.
There was a creation that came from a man who brought other like-minded people into his circle, who was generous with his creativity and his time and his support to give them space to be creative, to bring the joy and healing that they were seeking in their lives. It's about the ideas that Teddy brought to the world. But it's everybody who was touched by Teddy. The fact that Teddy, I don't think, will ever die. There's much untapped potential in Teddy to be the perennial that he should be.
The kids who had him when they were toddlers or whatever, they have grown up. They remember him. Maybe they've saved their Teddy. They're passing that on to their kids. You know, maybe just it doesn't work anymore, but it's still Teddy. If there's a new incarnation of Teddy around, they will seek it out. They will buy it.
Do you remember what it was like to have a toy that you really loved? A toy that was one of your very best friends?
On our great adventure.
Now you can return to that magical place filled with imagination, friendship, and happy ever afters. Give your child the world of Teddy Ruxpin.
Mom, can I bring Teddy Ruxpin back?
Teddy Ruxpin. Your kids will love him as much as you did.
Despite its semi-erratic release history, the world of Teddy Ruxpin and all that it encompassed had indeed become a part of millions of childhoods and proved to be not so easily forgotten. Between both incarnations of Worlds of Wonder, Hasbro's Playskool, Yes Entertainment, and Backpack Toys, a loyal and dedicated fandom arose, embracing Teddy and his stories. Shy as he was, Ken enjoyed the adulation because it vindicated all of his hard work and determination. Even when Backpack Toys folded after only a few years, Ken never stopped working towards bringing Teddy Ruxpin back. Unfortunately, he did not get the chance to see that happen.
Talking toys have been around since Edison made a doll that recited nursery rhymes by means of a small hand-cranked phonograph. Now there are dolls that reply emotively to a child by name. Ken Forsey, who died at 77 on March 19th at his home in Laguna Woods, California, advanced the field in the 1980s by inventing a plush bear that made appropriate facial expressions as it told stories and sang. His creation, Teddy Ruxpin, was almost impossible for harried parents to find when it burst on the scene in 1985, and it remained wildly popular through the next year. In 2003, the Toy Industry Association named it one of the most memorable and creative toys of the 20th century. Wife of 26 years Jan Hornbeck Forsey said he died of congestive heart failure. In addition to his wife, he is survived by 2 children and 3 grandchildren. Douglas Martin, The New York Times, April 8th, 2014.
He had some mini strokes, and the next Christmas he had his heart shocked back into rhythm. And I remember the doctor saying to me at that time, his productive life is over. And I didn't know that he was saying that he would only live 3 more months. It was really hard because he was my best friend, and we worked together and had a wonderful life for 26 and a half years. So it was hard to let go of him.
As he was losing health, he was also losing the ability to create and imagine. It was just hard knowing that he wasn't going to be here to share what he had to share with everybody anymore.
Hearing that he had died was somehow the end of a dream. It was the end of a time, a special, special time. Jan and a lot of other people put together a place for us to come and talk about Ken. It was a very lovely space. It was interesting because there were a lot of people that came, people who had loved Ken from every walk of his life.
And I remember I got up and spoke and felt numb, but I wasn't crying at that time. And it was really wonderful to see all of these people and to hear the wonderful things they were saying about Ken.
It was sad because there were still things to do, and they weren't going to be done. If it was ever going to happen, Ken would have to be alive to make it happen. I remember going to the memorial and not being that emotional on my way there, but when I got there and had to get up and speak, it hit me as to what he had been in my life.
Michelle and I had been working with Ken and Jan prior to his death, and we knew that his health was failing. You always hope that people will find the strength to go on, but we knew that he wasn't in good shape physically. And so losing him was very, very sad, and I really wondered what would happen going forward with Teddy Ruxpin, and if the will and the genius behind Teddy Ruxpin would be able to continue.
I felt a sense of loss that a wonderful, kind, creative light was no longer on in our world. It was a reminder of how grateful I was that I knew him and got to work with him closely. He represented a lot of the best things about people and creativity, and he brightened a lot of lives. He brought a lot of joy and love and happiness to people around the world, and he was certainly a very special soul and a beautiful man, and those of us who got to work closely with him were especially blessed.
It was very important for me to play the cello and play my favorite song from all the series that I had programmed, and that song was from the Birthday Surprise, and it was called The Gift of You. I started tearing up playing it because it was kind of at that moment that I realized that we were all part of something very unique, very special. We realized walking out that we were given a gift, and that was to be a part of Ken Forsey's dream.
It was a blessing to know that he played such an important, positive part in so many people's lives that they were still talking about it as if it was yesterday. And sharing those memories made it seem like it was just yesterday that all of it happened. And so it made it timeless to hear the stories and relive the things that happened.
What was going through my mind was, I want people to remember Ken in positive ways. What is his lasting impression? He changed my life. Few people have that effect, and the uniqueness of his life needed to be acknowledged and absolutely celebrated.
Ken's favorite story, I knew that, and it was so great to see it in the article, was Grubby's Romance, right? And he wrote it. And more than anything else that he breathed life into, and we all saw all the many things that Ken breathed life into, but more than anything else, I think that this story revealed Ken's sentimental and romantic and aspirational side.
Grubby's Romance dates back to at least 1972. It was produced as a storybook in the initial 1985 run, as well as turned into an episode of the animated series. While each incarnation of the story varies slightly, the gist of it is that Grubby meets and falls in love with a caterpillar, originally named Kathy, then officially becoming Karen. But their love is not to last, for Karen spins her cocoon and then emerges a butterfly. The two must part ways, despite their love for one another.
Do you have to go?
I guess I do.
Well, I suppose this is goodbye then. I'll never forget you, Karen, not as long as I live.
And I'll never forget you either, Grubby. Never, ever. I promise.
Goodbye, Karen.
Goodbye, Grubby. I'll miss you.
Oh, shucks. Love sure is flighty.
Happy endings come in many forms. Happy endings don't mean that people end up together. There was a sense of reality there, that in this happy ending, that life goes on, that this is part of life. It's okay to love someone, and they have to move on.
Ken called me one day in 1982 to see if I could help him out on a project. I was a name on a piece of paper that he was given when he asked Disney folk for recommendations of people who could costume. During that week, he pulled 4 people together to work out of his home on a project creating animated walkarounds for a Disney television show. Mary, Larry, Leon, and I eventually evolved into becoming the nucleus of his company, Alchemy II. When I think of Ken now, some of my fondest memories are those of the quote-unquote early days, before Teddy came along and changed our worlds. I'm amazed when I think back at the blind faith he had in me. I was so young and inexperienced, but that didn't stop him from pointing me in the right direction and letting me proceed with making whatever it was he wanted me to make. He held the confidence in me that I lacked. His expectations and belief in me allowed me to achieve a level of creativity that I don't know I would have been able to tap were it not for him. He was kind of quiet and shy. I found a photo I had taken of him sitting in his chair working at his drawing board with his back to the camera. This is how I saw Ken most of the time in the early weeks with him, always at the drawing board, working things out on current projects and future dreams. At the end of my first week with him, I went into his office on Friday and stood behind him, thinking he would hand me a paycheck. I stood for a while. I cleared my throat. I don't think he looked up as he said, "Well?" I mumbled something about being done. He didn't say anything. I mumbled something about leaving. He didn't say anything. I think I finally said something about getting paid. He reacted with a bit of mock surprise and took out a checkbook and slowly, painfully began to write a check. Quote, "How much am I paying you?" He ended up giving me an increase on the spot. This was my first encounter with Ken's sense of humor. It took me a while to get used to it. He was shy, but he loved and cared about the people who worked for him, choosing to refer to them as family instead of employees. The early years were filled with a lot of laughter, pranks, parties, sharing, and photos. We all loved our Polaroids and documented our work and lives through hundreds of packs of Polaroid film. We all worked as hard as we played, occasionally pulling the 24 to 48-hour marathons to get the Winnie the Pooh characters out the door. One of Ken's dreams came true through the development of Teddy Ruxpin. That toy changed our lives, and the company went in a different, unexpected direction. Teddy became so big that it eventually overshadowed Ken's other accomplishments. But I will always remember my early Ken. I will cherish thumbing through his loose-leaf notebooks, page after page of inventions and products, marveling at the man's prolific documentations, some of them making it to fruition. If you worked at Alchemy in the early days, your desk sported at least one little plastic penny saver with a slot to hold the paper wrappers. Ken has left a legacy in the products he invented and developed. But more important than that is the legacy he left through influencing and developing so many lives. Ken's inspiration and spirit will live on every time one of us picks up a pencil, sits down at the piano, hums a special tune, or jots something down in a notebook. I will always hold him dear to my heart and will probably join him someday under Rainbow Falls.
I look back at my life and career now, and it seems like I must have had a plan. Truth is, I've been lucky enough to always have a job I like and smart enough to learn everything I could from wherever I've been. I never dreamed I couldn't write, so I did. I love the creative process. Telling the stories just seemed another part of building things to me. I believe in storytelling and keeping in touch with that sense of wonder we have when we're children.
I believe that is one of the strongest qualities Ken had, his creative way of teaching life lessons. Because if you listen to his music especially, and you read his stories, there are so many life lessons in every word. So many things that he's trying to teach children about kindness and friendship and caring about one another. That really was his main theme throughout his life.
I can tell you he was a person of incredible ingenuity and creativity. He was a genius in that he could see things that other people didn't see. He gave people opportunities that often would make others scratch their heads. He enlisted me to do a great deal of writing when I had very limited experience writing scripts. He recognized the ability of different people to do things that they had the potential for but had never realized. He he was able to trust people the way most creative people can't. I would draw a comparison here with Walt Disney, who surrounded himself with talented people who had their own voices. But as Walt said, the name Walt Disney isn't just me. It reflects a lot of people. And that's because the work was bigger than him, was bigger than any individual. And I think the reason that we were all able to accomplish what we did was that Ken had that understanding and that vision.
Sometimes the difference between a genius and somebody who isn't is simply getting the backing for your dreams. You could be the greatest genius in the world in your basement, but if you don't affect anyone else and nobody knows it, it's the tree falling on the island, right? Does it make a noise or not? And luck is part of everything. And for whatever reason, Ken got all the ducks in the row and it happened. I wish he'd been around longer.
I think we can learn a lot about knowing of the life of Ken Forsey because he contributed so much, and it was at this time the same genre of these guys, Walt Disney and Jim Henson, and I think he could walk side by side with these guys in creation and the intent to provide to children and families this overreaching message of love.
Write about what you love most of all, and you'll become good at it, and you will establish your own style. The journey is to devise something which is new and which may be needed by someone. The vehicle is creative imagination. Read the very best and most beautiful literature for children that you can find. If you write for children, then respect them, don't talk down to them. Write things that are uplifting and might in some way make a difference. The most rewarding part of writing is discovering that something you've created has had a positive effect on the life of a child.
Ken's legacy, in that sense, is a revival of friendship and loyalty at a time when children's entertainment became what was termed edgy. And simplicity and those basic values of goodness are eternal. And Ken proved that, and that's his legacy.
Well, the idea that Ken's legacy is bigger than Teddy and encompasses all of us who were a part of that process and success and glory and sadness, I would agree. It's because he trusted us. If he chose you and had you come to work for Alchemy, you were part of something bigger than yourself. And actually, it brings me to tears to think that I'm part of Ken's legacy.
He gave me the freedom to grow as an artist through his encouragement and through his support. He, without saying it, without directing it, encouraged me and gave me the freedom to discover who I was as an artist.
Spend lots of time thinking and observing. If you see something in the world that is not working the way you think it could, then reinvent it. Write about how you think it should be.
Wherever he's at, he's creating universes. You have to allow your brain to not think linearly and to look at everything and pull things that don't belong together, put them together and see what happens with them. He was that type of thinker. If I do this and I do that, what comes out of that?
Ken was really a gentleman. He opened the doors and he was just very chivalrous. He never laid his coat over a mud puddle, but he would have if there had been one there. But he was just very gentle, very kind, and lots of fun. He loved to laugh. He could be very, very serious, but he liked to laugh and just enjoy life. And I think that's where his creativity and stories sprung from. He very much was considerate of other people and wanted to make sure that people had a step up in life without taking credit for it, and always taught us, and Mom taught us, to be nice to others and show your appreciation for them. He very much didn't see a difference between a doctor or the person who cleaned the hospital. Both were very important, and he instilled that in us as we were growing up, and their jobs were equally important, and you treat everybody the same as a human being, and everyone deserves respect. He went through life that way and didn't see a difference in class or race or the color of someone's skin. He believed everyone had an ability to do good and be good.
The dawn becomes daytime, then night, as time flies more quickly each day. Why does this adventure speed up? It may be we just know the way. The things that remain to be done don't fit in the days that remain. The thought that they might not be born is one that approaches with pain. Yet haste, which was once a response to wonderful things to be done, gives way to an orderly grace which fuses those things into one. A theory, a thought, a compassion, a joy, a story, a song, a device, or a toy. Those things of the mind which might come to be, or might open a view of a world we should see. Those things can unfold if they somehow are sharing the lessons of living and loving the caring. So when time has passed through the parts that we play, our dreams might live on and see new light of day.
Come dream with me tonight. Let's go to far-off places and search for treasures bright. Come dream with me tonight. Let's build a giant airship and sail into the sky. Let's watch the ground so far below. Let's watch the birds as they fly by. The butterflies in springtime will lead us on our way. Exploding dandelions will brighten summer's day. And if our dream's a good one, and if our dream is right, then imagination can be real if we will dream tonight. Come dream with me tonight. Let's go to far-off places and search for treasures bright. Come dream with me tonight. Let's meet a lovely princess and stand before a king. Let's dream a great adventure and let us live that magic dream. The orange leaves of autumn will crackle in the air. In winter, tiny snowflakes will sparkle everywhere. And if our dream's a good one, and if we see it through, then the wondrous dream we dream tonight someday just might come true.